Hey everybody, I'm Kayla. I'm the developer of Somatic Groundwork, and you're about ready to participate in a 45-minute class with me. This class is part 4 of a series that I just finished called Easy Does It, and it's an unwinding series. The theme of this next class is unwinding through STAR. If you're interested in participating with the entire series, then I suggest you go and check out the Somatic Groundwork online practice space. It's my monthly subscriber space. You can find the entire unwinding series there, and there's also over 100 other classes, and these are organized by collection and by class series. I also have a lot of other resources around somatic practice within that monthly membership. This class that's coming up is all about unwinding and yielding and rocking and rolling and pandiculating. And we're really using STAR kind of as the pattern or the relationship to return back to throughout practice. The entire practice will be on the floor until we come up to the end for standing presence, which is how we finish somatic groundwork. I think about these kinds of practices like self-massage, and in somatic groundwork, we're really interested in tracking sensation through the fascial matrix. And in this class, you'll notice that I'm encouraging us to also pay attention to how the gel-like quality of the fascia phase changes as we practice. And it's a wonderful emergent property of practicing with attention to fascia, and then also allowing the movement impulses, these kind of organic processes to rise through us and then to be expressed through movement. I'd love to hear your comments after you practice. You can put those in the comments below. Want to hear your feedback on that. And if you're interested in doing more somatic groundwork, check out my YouTube channel. There's classes there. Go check out the Somatic Groundwork online practice space. And if you're interested in becoming a somatic movement guide, then I highly recommend you check out Interdisciplinary Movement and Somatics, which is my 250-hour somatic movement teacher training. All of this is online, so wherever you are on the planet, you can participate with us. And enjoy. So we're going to be on the floor today. I invite you to come into the floor. Thank you for being here with me in somatic groundwork practice, and find your way onto your back into a wide open position, if that's okay for you. Otherwise, find that kind of yielding into the floor in the way that your body is asking. So my intention with this series has been to show up in this early morning practice for me and be kind of like really honest in practice with you in terms of unwinding, because morning time is a really good time for me to do that. And so with that said, I'm not exactly sure where we'll go. And if anything that I say is not quite right for you, please follow your body's impulses for movement. As in somatic groundwork, we participate with the presence unfolding to see what possibilities there is for us in the moment. So this practice of coming to the floor, yielding practices, but really coming into the floor and beginning to open up the senses is an important part of what somatic practice is. So we're actually like returning to our system with information in order to then see what kinds of impulses for movement come through. So let's do that for a few minutes here. Really leaning into the sensation of your body weight moving into floor, and the floor rising up to meet you. And here's this experience of being received by space, being received into place. We can get a little more specific with weight of our body and start to pay attention to bones. So where do you feel bony contact into the floor? I'm noticing right heel, left heel. I'm noticing areas around my kind of sacrum and pelvic area, bony areas. Noticing bony areas of my ribs and shoulder blades and skull. Bony areas of my arm bones, elbows, knuckles. And as you're presencing with this, any movements that come through you that need to be expressed, allowing those to happen. So I have some pandiculations. I'm hearing my digestive tract move, like my gut's making all kinds of sounds. That's good parasympathetic feedback right there, that's where my body's going. Then as I begin to pandiculate, I'm finding these areas that are really loving being put into a little bit of tension or stretchy, kind of expandy feeling. And so I'm going to move with those. You know, we could call these micro movements. Oh, I don't really think too much about them, right? These little impulses, these movement actions that move through us. Allowing the pandiculations to rise and fall through those. And I'm into rocking. So we're going to combine some of these unwinding techniques from the past 3 classes. We have rocking and rolling, and then the recipe for slow flow unwinding. Kind of allowing all of those to mix and mingle, become your own unique improvisational journey in this moment. So I have a long-legged rock going on right now. Heels are finding their way deeper into the sand beneath me as I imagine this. And a really kind of like soft fold and unfold through ankles, little stiffening through my feet. So I have this way of creating a ripple from feet through legs, through pelvis, through ribs, through skull, all of those bony contact areas. Now getting a wee bit of a massage. Allowing my breath to move. So think about this as a sort of circulation, rhythmic rocking, vibration, full cycle of breath. And as I end rocking, I'm noticing that my legs want to rock a little bit more. So they're now kind of moving in and out, call these thigh rocks, big toe in, little toe out. A little bit of knee wagging. Sounds like raindrops as I go back and forth with my legs, bending and unbending. And then when you come to stillness, really allow that sensation to be, just indulge in all that is here. Oh, and that takes me into the next movement. I mean, these are body impulses. We could call this intuitive movement, call this organic movement. Allowing your body to move and fold and push and twist to bring you into ease, to give you more feedback that then allows your body to move again. All right. Before we start going into some bigger star expressions, I'm going to work with some foot work. So I'm taking one leg up towards the ceiling. I'm going to be very strong with this action here at first. So I'm going to work between the qualities of strong and soft. So I have a strong heel push up towards the ceiling, really tightening the muscular action around my knee, actively pulling toes back. I'm feeling into the back of my leg right now. And then I'm going to give a strong point through my toes. So now I'm opening the front of my ankle, still stiffening around knee. And I'm going to bring that leg down to the ground. I'm on standing feet now. Other side, so strong reach through heel. Active pull through toes down towards my face. Active knee extension. And I'm sustaining this action. I don't know, 5-10 seconds. Now I'm pointing through my foot, reaching toes to the ceiling, opening the front of ankle. Breath still moving. And folding that leg back down. So there was strong quality. I'm going to move back into the other side now, and I have a soft bend in my hip and knee. You could take your hands behind your thigh if you wanted to kind of hold it towards your body. And now begin circling through your ankle, but change the quality to soft. So soft and slow. Seeing if you can get into every nook and cranny of that ankle circle. And moving deep. So the softness allows us to move through the superficial layers. Take your attention way inside. Then I'm going to go the other direction. Noticing these little micro holds around my jaw, like through my upper back. So I'm asking my body to let those go, seeing if that's possible. And a little wiggle shake of that foot before I bring it back to the floor. And I'm going to the other foot now. Again, so soft, so slow, and simple, right? Simple. Ankle circle. And it's this embodied experience of choosing a quality, of paying attention to where you'd like this to initiate. So again, deep within the center of your foot and ankle. Noticing the rest of your body in response. Now you can keep this weighted yielding going. And breath keeps moving. And just make sure you go in both directions. So if you haven't switched directions, go ahead and do that. And I'm bringing that leg down to the ground. Oh, pandiculation. So sometimes pandiculation has a yawn, right? Sometimes pandiculation is just this spontaneous urge to move, and you can feel it start somewhere central to you in your deep volume. And then it's like this expression that wants to move all the way to your distal endpoint somewhere. Out fingers, out toes, knees, through the sides of your body, out your eyes. Comes to the edges of you. Oh, okay, I'm moving back into star now. And I'm taking a moment to notice how I am. And I'm certainly feeling a little bit more spaciousness in the inside of me, where my volume doesn't feel so sticky and kind of clogged. There's already kind of a change in that gel-like quality of tissue in the way that I'm receiving or perceiving that. All right, so I'm going to do a right leg. I'm going to draw the knee up on my right side. Right foot then comes to the floor. Knee falls in and across towards my left leg. So it's like a single knee drop. Knee arcs out over to the other side. Outside of foot slides down. All right, so it's this easy pathway. Knee slides up. Knee goes across. Knee opens out. Toes drag you down. Now, as you do this, see if you can use the least amount of effort. So let's stick with the soft quality. Right, floor is your partner. And whatever small micro movements happen at either side. So my knee might drop across, and maybe I do a little rock. Maybe I do a longer push. Maybe when my knee opens to the side, I want to do a little easy bounce. Maybe as my leg goes long again, I want to flex and point and circle my ankle again like I had before. So there's this way of like staying open to all of the opportunities inside of this simple thigh drawing in, going across, going out. I'm just going to repeat it. Go in at whatever tempo allows you to track what's going on in your body. And I'm having this experience of my skull is like rocking in the opposite direction of my knee. That's just happening as I'm allowing my spine to be present and receptive. And that leg is finishing. Resting for a breath. And other leg, same thing. Knee draws up, knee goes across. Knee goes out, toe drags down. So we have a task. So we're starting with the task, right? And we're choosing it. This is voluntary action. So that's kind of like the brain down stuff, right? We go, hey, I'm going to do this task, you know, this movement. And then you start to get curious about what's happening inside the movement. Like, what is that like as my foot comes to the floor and rolls across and the weight gets distributed from the inside to the outside? What am I noticing within kind of like deep pelvis and pelvic floor as my leg is folding and unfolding across my body? And those are just two simple examples. It's like, where do you want to see? Or what comes up as a strong sense? Softly, softly. And that leg's finishing. Strong spoke out my fingers in the high Y position. Got an opportunity now to lengthen the space between pelvic girdle and shoulder girdle. That just arose spontaneously. But here's the joy of working with fascia is although we were just doing something with legs, there's this way that we have a global response, right? Distribution of tension across the network. Okay, back to my right leg. So we're going to do the straw up, but now we're going to take the knee across and we go into this real easy lower body twist. And once I get into this easy lower body twist, I'm going to find a rocking motion here. So we're just moving into twisted star so slowly. Now, if it doesn't quite work for you to get your leg kind of on the other side and to rock, you could actually bring your foot back behind and you could rock from more like a bridge position. Right, so I could bring my leg up and not bring it across, but from a bridge, I could push the floor away and I could get a rock through pelvis. And maybe then that allows for you to eventually get into a deeper rotation. Maybe not. Let's see what you can find here. Lower body rocking moves through your spine. Then from this rocking, allow your knee to get a little closer to the floor. You're going to start to roll through your upper body, right? This is the natural kind of sequence of events. Now I'm reaching through my right arm. I'm going to take that reach how it wants to go, right? So I'm intentionally taking this rock from the lower body and seeing how it's influencing upper body movement. Circling overhead. I have my other arm folded underneath me so that I can actually move on top of it without feeling like I'm compressing that shoulder in an awkward way. And then I just take the string of pearls through fingers, number 4 across the leg. Oh, back to star. Spine wants to slither now a little bit, so I'm allowing some slithery spine. These little subtle pandiculations, they're not quite as big. They don't necessarily have the yawning with them, but they're these spontaneous changes that start from deep within and want to move through. And you kind of know when it's a pandiculation, there's a quality of it. It's like at the same time you have a squeeze, you also have an expansion. The same time you have things moving towards each other, you also have things wanting to move away from one another. So you have that sense of stretch and active contraction at the same time, just to try and find words for how that might move through you. Okay, so I'm bringing my other leg up, knee goes across, dragging that leg across. This is a lower body twist. The top leg is heavy, folded. I'm just finding so I can get that foot, my foot on the floor. And this is the side of my big toe, so I can do a little rock. I'm noticing that rock also moving down my long leg, the leg that's underneath it. I'm getting a nice rock through my hip socket there, subtle. And then this rock moves through my top hip, influencing kind of like lower thoracic spine. I'm feeling that pull across armpit, biceps. And that's great. And I'm going to let the knee really yield all the way to the floor. That's going to take me into a version of kind of a half roll. I'm folding my arm that's close to the floor towards me. And I'm now allowing the yielded knee to send a reach up through my upper body. My eyes are actually coming up off the floor with my head. And some arms circling overhead. Pausing wherever you need. All right, micro movements is essentially saying, hey, here's a little area of sticky or a place where you're just getting a lot of strong sensation. Sometimes you notice that because your breathing starts to kind of close up a little bit. And so you go, all right, I'm just going to sustain that moment there and do little tiny rotations or rocks of some kind in that area and then see what happens. Like kneading the dough of you. Yeah. You're kneading your own dough. Self-massage. Remembering that the gel-like properties of fascia phase change. And that's what gives us these then feelings of more openness or ease or less stiffness. And I'm back in the start. Seeing what movements you might want here. I'm going to go back into long-legged rocking as a sort of an integration, supporting augmented rest, which we know is really important in somatic practice to give the brain a chance to catch up with all of the information that we're intending there because of our attention. And coming to quiet for a few breaths. And back into star. Okay, so we're kind of just leading up here. So I've got the knee draw up, got the leg then moves to easy lower body twists across. And now I'm going to actively spoke the leg down. So we've been working with some softness. Let's go back to more strength, but think about that as a spoking energy, right? Very direct and down a long diagonal. You might go back and forth with that. So kind of like softening, the knee bends, you go into this lower body twist, and then through your toe, a strong spoke, knee extends, and notice how your body is influenced by that. Right, so that spoke actually feeds all the way up through my torso and arm, starts to take me through a bit of a rotation. And then I can come back to lower body twist. This changes my shape a little bit, soft. So soft to active spoke. I like to use my top arm to spoke back to where I was and then transition to soft. See about going back and forth through that. This idea of kneading dough. Soft quality to spoken quality. And I have a spoke that's going to take me all the way to my belly because that's where my body's going. So if that happens for you and you come to your belly, give yourself a moment to see how your body wants to move on belly. I've got a strong impulse for expanding through deep volume here. And melt back into the ground and coming back to star. Soft body rolling. Right, so there's that soft body rolling opportunity. Let's stick with that for a moment. So allowing the softness now of soft body rolling to go where it goes. Maybe moving to the other side. Maybe you want to go back to where you just were. Maybe that soft body rolling is super easy, you know, like just a knee drop side to side. Maybe you want to get into some surfaces of your body that haven't quite found floor yet. And then back to star. Oh, so I'm going to the other side of my body. So I have the knee draw up, drag the leg across, easy lower body twist. Pausing here for a moment, returning to that quality of softness. So softness doesn't mean that you might not experience some really localized areas. of either tension or sensation. Like, so for me, I do have that. It's across my back body, kind of up at this diagonal across my torso. But like, it's a good enough sensation, right? It's not a pain. So you want to kind of like be able to breathe and settle into things. And then I find softness here. Take my toe out, spoke strongly down the diagonal, total change of quality. Moving out into space, see how your body responds. I move into a whole body rotation. It's a sort of twisted star. And then I return back to the soft lower body twist. All right, so I used a lot of words on the other side. One thing that I might add here is you could use your breathing specifically here. So with the spoke, an inhale, right? Inhale kind of facilitates expansion. And then as you return to soft, going at the speed of your exhale. And then allowing that to move into soft body rolling. If you'd like to invite that quality. In soft body rolling, there's usually a place where there's a little push. And that little push moves your body into a new surface, yielding the weight of you, indulging in the experience of support from ground and gravity. Feeling the wave of push and release. Pausing wherever you'd like. And I'm returning back to star. I'm going to add in some more long-legged rocking. And I've got a little bit of a thigh rock going again. And I'm being pretty quick with this. So I'm kind of like more on the strong sense of it this time. It's like a wagging of my foot back and forth. Heels kind of like the anchor point, and I'm rolling across that right to left. All right, so a little bit different approach this time, back into star. So I'm going to let my right leg swing across. Yeah, so I'm going to swing the right leg across. Big toe finds the floor. It's already in a place to spoke. I'm going to keep working down the pathway of spoke and come right to belly and take a rest. And then the last hand that came over, so for me that was right side, I'm just going to bring it to my chest. I'm going to push the floor away, and I'm going to softly roll back. So here again, we have kind of a more of a soft and a strong quality play. So we start with the strong through a spoke. Swipe across, strong spoke down, string of pearls through your body all the way to belly. Take a yield. Find a palm to the floor, use that hand to push you back, softly rolling back to back star. So spoking over and rolling back. And if the movement of this is feeling right, you can go back and forth almost in a more kind of flow state without spending too much time and rest in any one place. Or pausing wherever it is that you want to take that deeper yield. Oh, and I'm back to star. I'm going to find a few breaths in quiet and star in order to check in that phase change of the gel-like quality of tissues, see what I might be able to detect. And moving into the other side of my body. And spoke. And let that spoke take me all the way to belly. Sequencing through. And then I take my left palm, really find the full palm on the floor. I push the floor away. I organize myself to roll back, find that soft quality being received through gravity to earth, back to star. So spoking to belly and then push to soft body roll. Moving at the speed with which you can track. Being right here in the experience of moving for the sake of moving. And I'm finding myself returning back to constructive rest position. That's a place you want to return with me. And we can find another augmented rest here together. I'm going to go back into a rhythmic rock again, but now 2 feet are on the floor. With 2 feet on the floor, you get more movement through your pelvis. You might want to notice that change of range. And then asking yourself before we come up to finish practice, what else is left for you? I'm going to take my voice out here for the next few minutes. Give you a chance to really be present in your space and your place. And if that is staying in quiet and yielding deeply, go for that. Or if there's other movements or expressions or needs your body has, then following those. We're going to take our journey to standing. So that's about finding that kind of like next position to where you can get into some kind of mid-level sit. And we like this journey to standing to continue to be an extension of practice. So staying present with the same channels of awareness. So finding a few mid-level sits, eventually getting your legs underneath you, using your legs then as a root to allow your spine to roll up, head being the first thing to come back into standing. Yeah, and take your time with this. There's no need to rush here. Keep allowing these small rocks and rolls, pandiculations to move through you, exploring these qualities of soft and spoking. Staying in relationship to the partner of floor as a helper, as a support. This way of working with our body, this like practice that we have of unwinding as self-massage, and this skill that we develop in terms of really being present with this kind of like gel-like quality of our fascial architecture changing and shifting because of our attention and the quality of movement that we allow to move through us. The relationship that we have with ground and gravity, the relationship that we have with space, our choice in choosing, like the choice we have in quality, right? So now as you come up to standing, maybe a very kind of like small, slow, soft dance, right? Close into your body. Just like kind of as this reminder of our ability to move softly, the opportunity to move like water. This flow property really is actually the base of us. The receptivity that you have right now into your body home, it's always available. Allowing all the movements to dissolve back into a quiet place of standing presence, closing eyes if you want. And being here. Like really being right here. Okay enough on your feet. Let's take this goodness with us today. Thank you so much for practicing somatic groundwork with me, everybody.